Dear friends, Guru and sisters, good morning to all. Now, this function is organized by Bharatiya Itihasa Sanghal Samiti to discuss the concerns or share the concerns of the social concerns regarding the beatification or the elevation of a mythical hero, this Deva Sahayamullah, to the blessed position of the Catholic Church. Regarding the Semitic churches, Semitic religion as well as political philosophies, martyrs are essential condition for their growth. Without martyrs, they can't live. From the very beginning, Jesus Christ to the Deva Sahayamullah, this mighty church built upon the foundations of these martyrs, the blood of the innocent peoples. So here, our pattern or natural religions, they call it as pagans. Ours is a natural religion. It has no founder, no savior, no prophets. It's naturally, spontaneously it evolved. Earlier, before the emergence of this Semitic religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, the world all over having several such spontaneous religions, natural religions. And religion has its own civilizations and its own system of knowledge. And so on. These all are swallowed by these Semitic religions. That is a sort of Matsya, swallowing big fish. A small fish was swallowed by big fishes. Here, they are creating sensationalism or compassion towards this martyr man. Here, this Deva Sahayamullah or Neelakanta Pilla is no more in the history of Travancore. There is an archives at Trivandrum that contains almost all minute papers regarding the Travancore dynasty. The Travancore dynasty since the days of Marthandavarma. Well accounted. I went through these years of documents and I never have seen such a man. Even the hanged people or executed people, these all people just mentioned in the reports. So unfortunately, it was not seen in the case of Deva Sahayamullah. They say that Deva Sahayamullah earlier was a Nair and his name was Neelakanta Pilla. Since that days dated before the 19th century, or the 20th century, no such name was allowed to a Nair. He may be a Neelakanta Pilla. There was no Krishnan in the Nair community, only Krishnan. That's a gradation in the names. So no such name can't be seen in the case of a Nair community in the before 20th century. In the 20th century, there is no differentiation. It is confined to Namburis Brahmins. Neelakantan is confined during that days, confined to this Nairs only. So basically, no such name. Similarly, he was converted as Lasam. And his wife Bhargavi was also converted as a Christian lady, and she acquired Jnanapu. That is a pure Dravidian or Tamil word Jnanapu. But during the early days of Catholic conversion, no such name was used. Francis Xavier, you can go through the annals of the history of Francis Xavier's atrocities. He converted the people into De Silva, Sousa, etc. like names. Never has given Jnanapu like names. But this was actually started by the English missionaries, LMS and such as CMS missionaries here started. After the Cardwell's attempt to convert Tamil as Tamil as Dravidian and Dravidian as a racial anthropological entity. That means Dravidian as an anthropological community, anthropological entity, Aryan as another anthropological entity. Two words that used frequently in the Sanskrit, Dravidian and Aryan. Dravidian means in the days of Greek trade, Greeks called Tamilians as Damirigi. The Tamil country identified by Greeks as Damirigi. They have a frequent trade with us. Our Arasi was taken by these Greek people and introduced in Europe as Oraisi and later returned as rice. Our ginger inji was taken by these Greeks and they introduced in Western countries as ginger, and later returned as ginger. Likewise, this Damaridam, they spelled Damaridam, Damarige and Damaridam turned as Dravidam. But Bishop Cardwell converted it as an ethnic group, a racial identity. So thereafter they began to use this London mission and CMS missions began to use this native vernacular names to the Christians. This Jnanapu, there is no possibility of using Jnanapu to the Devasahayamula's wife, Lasser's wife, during the days of the European, particularly Catholic conversion time. Maybe Maria or Anna, etc. like names. But it is a later construction. Here, our main concern is that it's all of their own personal or internal matters of the religion. I am not going into that matters. Here to translate the history of this mythical hero. So really mythical hero, Devasahayam Pilla or Neelakanta Pilla, at the cost of Hindu magnanimity, Catholicity, etc. According to that means to villainize Hindu society as well as rulers of South India or Travancore as villains in this society. Here really from the very beginning, for 10,000 years of history, we go through the 10,000 years of Hindu history, Hindu social, political history, we can see, we followed the principle, Ekam Sat Vipra Vigudavandi. That means, religion is not a matter of our concern. Where all religions are the base path to the ultimate truth. Satyam, Ekam Satyam. The only one Satyam. That is Parabrahman. That is the base. There are several bases. I can come to Nagarkovil via Chennai, via Madurai, via Kovai, and via Parashala. There are so many ways. Ultimate, my target is Nagarkovil. Likewise, this is a principle. But they are victimizing Hindus. There are about a dozen of internet sites and in addition to visual and print media, they are victimizing the Hindu society, the age-old tradition of the Hindu society. That means, Sarvadeva Namaskaram. To the Hindu society, there is no distinction between gods. The only Semitic, I am the only God. You are no other gods. That was the concept of the Christian, Muslim, Islam and Judaist religions, not the Hindu way of thought. Here they claims that because of the reason of his conversion, the king, Dalawa Diwan and Brahmins all together prepared a conspiracy, hatched a conspiracy against this man, and ultimately he was shot to death at the Katadimale, I think. There is a contradiction. During those days, India has no such practice of killing the culprits or condemned prisoner through shooting it. Only hanging the practice. Here you are going to Patnapuram Palace, you can see Kadu Pedagam. That means putting this Nilanda Pillai, if he was convicted, no doubt he may be put inside the Kadu Pedagam and hang on the tree. The vultures will come and eat him. This is a practice. It's another contradiction. There are so many contradictions. Another one contradiction I would like to invite your attention is that he was converted under the influence of Dilinoyi or Valiya of Travancore forces. It is a totally false and absurd statement and conclusion. He never allows Deva Sakayam Pilla to baptize Snanam at the hands of Catholics. This Illinois was a Protestant. Next country was a Protestant. Yesterday I went through some documents of then Dutch society, Dutch government. The recruitment to the officers of Dutch East India Company, VOC, Dutch East India Company, was strictly based on religious convictions. No Catholics allowed to enter in the service. Reformed Church, Calvinists were allowed, these Protestant groups were allowed to join in the service of the Dutch East India Company. But here they say Illinois was a Catholic. No, he was the captain of the ship. Never allowed a Catholic to be in the service of the Dutch East India Company or Dutch government, Dutch royal government. Even today also in Netherlands 30% are Catholics. That means 70% are Protestants. Even today also. Nowadays Europe is not concerned about religious matters, but they are only business matters. Only on monetary terms they are thinking. That means globalization in the face of globalization. But even today also the population in Netherlands was 30% and rest is 70%. Today also that country is a Protestant country. And so here they claim that under the influence of Dilinoy directed him to, we can accept under the influence of Dilinoy, Nilanda Pilla embraced or decided to embrace Christianity. It's for the sake of argument. But why he sent him to Katadimale for the Jesuit fathers? No, it is possible. During those days, they are belligerent parties. They are mutually warring. 16th, 17th, 18th century wars in Europe was wars between Christians, Protestant, Catholics. One night, 25,000 Huguenots of France was executed by Catholic Church. 25,000 Huguenots. Huguenots, the French Protestants. They took asylum. The rest took asylum in England. These are solid history, clear history. Need not want any speculation or guessing. Here, this is just a false argument. Another thing that during the Dutch days, they entered into treaty with native Rajas. One such Raja was Tekanguru, that is belongs to my birthplace, Kottayam. And another is nearby state Vadakangur. You go through these agreements between Vadakangur, Tekanguru with the Dutch. The first condition of the treaty is that to expel the entire Catholic priests and nuns from the country. Expel Catholic priests and nuns from Tekanguru and Vadakangur. Then only come to the business matters. This is a pattern. And above all, in 1743, Martha Norman entered into a treaty at Mavelikara Treaty, by which the criminal and judicial administration of Christians was handed over to the Dutch by Martha. To a Christian inside the Martha country committed a crime, the charge should be handed over to Dutch East India Company. They have a judge and judicial system, and they will try and decide the punishment. But here, the Catholic Church, they are totally ignorant about the history. Those padris who drafted this play in the 18th century, that means Jesuit padris at Madurai, prepared the script of the play. They must have as a part of to stage in the villages of Kambam, Theni, etc. like places. They are not aware of the proper history of Travancore. They are totally ignorant. That is why they say our Martanda Varma and his government executed him by shooting. In 1820, Travancore has only 31 rifles. 31 rifles. It is scarce material. Rifle along with the ammunition. Ammunition is not available in Travancore or India. It's coming from Europe. So, in those days, there is no chance of killing a man by shooting. But above all, he has Martanda Varma and Ramayan Dalava has no right to try a Christian inside his country. That is left to Fort Kochi. Fort Kochi, there is the garrison and the government of the British country. Another thing is that, before I am going to conclude, one more point is I would like to share with you that the existence of Hindu, I am not saying religion, Hindu way of life centered on the Brahmin priesthood. That truth was realized by the church. Church intelligence was well aware of the power of the Hindu society or Hindu way of life resides or laid on the Brahminical foundations. They are the priests of Hindu society. In 1980s, in Kerala, the chief minister then was K. Karunakaran. K. Karunakaran, as a socialist, and he decided to appoint non-Brahmin priests in the Travancore Devasam boards. 20 were appointed from various castes, from lower to upper. 20 were appointed. They were appointed various temples, but the devotees showed reluctance to go there. Even lower class people were said to be lower. I am not blaming. There is no lower or higher class, but the society is confined. Certain people are lower. They are not ready to go to worship before their own community priest, Pujari. Finally, this attempt turned to be a failure, and Karunakaran transferred them into the various departments of Devasam Board, Travancore Devasam Board. Those who have less than SSLC, 10th class, they were transferred as peons, and those who 10th or above, they are as clerks, typists, etc. like in the service of Travancore Devasam Board. But this truth was well aware by the Catholic or Christian community, international Christian community, not Indian Christian community, international Christian community. Their target is to end the Brahminhood or to absorb Brahmin to Christianity. That means absorb and enter India. That is why in 1670, when Robert Nobili was sent by the papacy to Madurai, and he started ashramam. He come into Kavi flats, Kavi sannyasins, Kavi trust, and he began to mark puris on the forehead, and he began to speak only in Sanskrit, and he segregated from the rest of the church, and he prepared in Sanskrit a fifth Veda, that is Jesus Veda, Yeshua, and they tried to convert. They utterly failed. Thereafter, they are waiting for a chance to attack or dismember the appropriate way is dismember the Brahmin community from the cluster of Indian hierarchical Jadi structure or caste structure. So as a part of it, they are blaming Brahmins and upper caste, and by which they can end their importance. It is their dream, daydream only. It is impossible. It is a vital, healthy culture, and it survived several attempts or by Muslims, Turks, then these barbarians, and several, and finally by the strategy, survived the strategy of British entering, penetrating through education to that means to defame the Christianity, Hinduism. But their products, Vivekananda Swamigal made the British education's product, first generation product. Vivekananda Swamigal really lifted or the image of the Hinduism internationally. Thank you for all.